What's up guys, in this video I'm going to build an AI lead scoring bot live. So the goal of this bot is basically to qualify Facebook lead form leads if they are in the right industry and if they have the right headcount. I'm going to do this build with Airtable and make.com and the Apollo API and of course ChatGPT. So yeah, you can just follow along and I'll make some notes as well, like if you want to do certain things that I'm not maybe doing in this video, kind of give you some ideas on how to do it. So if you like this type of video, please make sure to subscribe and yeah, let me know if you like these live walkthroughs and I'll keep doing them. So let me just share my screen. All right. So first step is I made an Airtable base. So this is where the leads initially come in. So if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I really like Airtable because it's that custom. So as you can see, I have the email addresses here. I'll actually delete this top one and I'll blur them out because these are actual leads. Unfortunately, like so far, I've been running these ads like for 1 day, so not that much going on, or 2 days or so. This one is the only like real one, I would say, because this is the only one that actually filled out their domain. But yeah, basically we're going to build something that will take the domain that they fill out. So on the lead form, I'm only asking, please fill out your company domain. So someone filled out Google, someone filled out no, and these are some other ads that are still running that I didn't ask them. So this is the only one that we actually got, which is good. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to use that domain to do an API call to Apollo and you know, first of all get the headcount and the industry so that we can then determine if it's qualified based on the headcount, and then later on we'll also do a prompt. So we'll have the AI visit the website and basically see if it fits our criteria, which in my case is if they are selling professional services, so it's not a software product, then it's basically qualified. And then I have this little formula that will, you know, determine if it's qualified or not, based on the headcount being more than 7, so 8 people and up, and if AI qualified is yes, so if the AI said yes, it's qualified. So yeah, that's basically what I've done so far. Then also what we'll do is the qualified lead, if they're actually qualified, so if it's a yes, I will feed that back to Meta with their conversion API CRM integration, that will have basically Meta know you know, whether a lead is qualified or not, and it can actually optimize on the right ones. You do need quite a bit of volume for this, so you know, these like 6 leads in a couple of days, that's not enough. So I have to scale ad spend to actually get a good result with that, but you know, giving them more data, it always works out better. So yeah, I'll just do that as well. So let's start off by getting to make.com. Let me just sign in. And the first step, what we're going to do is we're going to use the Apollo API. So what I'll do here is I'll have to make a view first that I'll use as a trigger to, you know, for make.com to know if there's an actual lead they have to, you know, enrich. So I'll do Apollo enrich as a view. Then I'll use a filter and I'll say if the domain column contains, I'll do a dot because then I know they actually fill out the domain, because every domain will have a dot, and yeah, this will kind of filter out any of the errors. We might still get people that say no with like a dot or something, or any type of like Mickey Mouse type leads, but you know, this is like for now I think it's good enough. And then I'll also add in the condition that headcount in Apollo industry is empty, so that once we use this, it will no longer be in the queue basically to be done. All right, then we go to make, we select the Airtable, and then we select search. By the way, I'm sorry if you hear a cat or a rooster in the background. I got this new office and yeah, they're pretty loud. There it is. Lead base, the table, and then we select the view we want. So the view is going to be Apollo enrich. Okay, then let me see if Apollo actually has one. I don't think they'll have. They have make an API call, I usually like just using the HTTP module, so I'll do that. I'll do make a request. We go over to the developer, and then we need this endpoint. So the endpoint is organization enrichment, and this one is actually pretty good. It's fairly cheap, just 1 export credit. I've seen in the past though, if you use the Apollo API, they don't actually count any of your credits, because I don't know what they're doing over there, but for the longest time you could just pool data without them charging anything. So we'll have to see if we actually charge for this, but even if they do, it's fine, right? Like you can get a plan with 10,000 export credits, pretty cheap usually, so like 100 a month or something. So yeah, let's take this endpoint, put it in here, and then we have to do I think a get. Let's see. Yeah, get. So get, then the body type is raw, the content will be JSON, and the request content will be, let's see, we have to do it. So we have to actually just use the thing behind the URL. So we simply be domain equals, and then we'll use the domain column. So boom, now we got that, and then obviously we also need to add our API keys. Let me see how we have to do that. In this case, okay, they want you to have us do it with a header. So let's see. So we go back, and then we have to add a header here with the name. Oh, didn't copy. With a name, and then the value of the API key, which you can find over here. I'll have to blur mine, obviously. Right, we just want the master key. I could have used that one, but anyway, we just copy it, and then we paste it in here, and then we have an API key, and then the request content, we don't have to do anything. Right, cool. So let's see if it works. Yeah, 200, but it didn't find anything, which is sad. So let's see if it actually does find something where I duplicate this record and I try my own company, which I know is in Apollo, because we do get people reaching out to us. Well, it still only did one for some reason. Let's try again. Okay, now it has 2. Alright, so for us it did find the organization, so the first one it didn't find, so that's actually interesting. We might use a backup provider then, because we do want this data. Then just parse response to yes, so we actually get back the data. And then let me just build in like the thing right away. So we do a little check, Apollo enriched. We do like a checkbox. And I'll share with you guys another API you can use. Alright, then we'll update the record. The ID will be the ID of the first step. And then the fields we wanted to do was basically head count. So we do head. I'll have to rerun it. So if you click yes on the parsing, then it has to run again for it to actually give you the fields. So just run it again. Open it up. Okay, it still didn't run it properly. Let me see. So it is in here. So sometimes it's a bit buggy because you're using the API, it doesn't know what to expect back. So yeah, just gotta rerun it, refresh sometimes, you know. No real science, but should be good now. Let's see. No, still not. Try it like this. And then see if it shows up. Yeah, now it shows up. All right. So we go to headcount. I say headcount or employees maybe. Estimated number of employees. All right. That's good. That's accurate 10. And then industry, marketing and advertising, which is correct as well. All right, cool. So now we got those fields in there, and then we'll actually do Apollo enriched yes. So if it doesn't find it, we'll actually know. And then I'll build the same thing for you guys with a second one. So let's just run it now. And then we'll see that it is enriched, this one. And now we'll enrich the second one. There's no select option. Let's see. Let's just make this text field. So I just gave an error because that was like a multi-select field and not, so it doesn't have that option, so it gives an error. Right, so now it's done. And now you can see that this guy is still not enriched because Apollo doesn't have his data. So what we do next is then we also put this where it is not checked, and then I'll make a second one with another API I use to get data. So this is called Nubela. So let's do this one after. So if it's already enriched but it's still empty, then we'll use this one because this one is a little bit more expensive. So let me pull that up for you guys. It's called this one. So this is actually a really good API. So if you want to get any sort of data from LinkedIn, this is a really good one. And not a lot of people know about it. They're a bit underground because I guess they're scraping LinkedIn at a huge scale. I don't know what LinkedIn, I can imagine LinkedIn doesn't really like that. Anyway, company, so let's see. I think it's this one. We can look it up with the company domain, and then we get back similar data. So this costs 2 credits, and the credits are like 6 cents or so, so it is a little bit more expensive, but yeah, like I said, it's good to have a backup, right? Because this system won't work if we don't know the data and we can't feed it back to Meta. It's yeah, not really working well. Or if you want to put it, which I'm actually going to do as well. So whenever a lead is qualified, I'm also going to send it to our appointment setter to manually reach out and yeah, get everything set up that way as well. All right, cool. So let's see. So the API endpoint, the API key is. All right, I'll have to see how to get this inside of make. Anyway, let's just. So this is enrich Apollo. And then what I'll do is I'll say duplicate, clone, and I'll say enrich. And I've mentioned this in previous videos, but the reason I do search and then update as opposed to trigger is because I found it works a lot better. And you get like the views, so you can actually see if something is stuck or kind of what's going on within your things. Especially if you watch my last video as well, there's like, well not 100, but like 20, 30 different views and different automations. So yeah, you will not get kind of lost if you do it this way. It makes it a bit easier to keep track. All right, cool. So let's take this endpoint and then we copy it in here. And then the header, just drag this over here. All right, guys, I figured it out. So basically, you have to add the company domain is inside of the URL at the top, and then enrich is enrich. So funnily enough, the lead We didn't get results with Apollo. We don't get results here either. But I just looked them up on LinkedIn and I can't find them manually either. So it must be a very new company, or they just never got around to making a LinkedIn page. And then, typically providers will not find them. So what we can do here is we can make some sort of fallback that if an account is not on LinkedIn, company not on LinkedIn, we can, for example, I would actually just ignore it, to be honest, because if you don't even have a LinkedIn company page, like, it's probably not really in business I want to work with at my agency at least. But anyway, just to finish off this automation as well, obviously we're then gonna feed it back into the Airtable base, which is gonna be the lead base, and just give the data back. So now we have a fallback. I would say the data between Nubela and Apollo will be very similar, because I guess, and I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure Apollo will buy data from Nubela, as they're one of the biggest providers. It's kind of like the wholesale provider, so to say. Anyway, let's fill it out. So it's going to be headcount. It's going to be employees. Let's see, how do they name it? Company size, and then this. And then, this is called Apollo Industry. Maybe we can name it just like Industry. Let's see where it is, the industry. There we go. And then we could add, for example, another like checkbox, but for now it's fine. So now you can enrich with this provider as well, and it will automatically do it if it didn't find anything inside of Apollo. All right, then on to the next step. So the next step would be to do the AI. So let me build that. Let's actually move these scenarios over. So now we got enrich Apollo, and then we're going to do the AI one. So this one is going to be pretty nice. So what we're going to do, again, we're going to search, and then I'm just going to create a view again. So this is going to be the AI qualification. So basically, whenever someone has more than, in my case, 7 employees, so headcount is greater than 7, and I'll maybe store the website here. The text on their website I'll store here. So if it's empty, then we want to basically scrape their website, fill it out here, and then we want to qualify with AI, and it's either going to check this box or not if it thinks it's qualified. So going back to Airtable, going back to the right base, table, and then the right view. And then what we're going to do is we're again going to use the HTTP module, but actually with this you can also browse the web. So it's actually a super easy way of doing web scraping. So we'll just use the domain column as the URL and a GET response, and that should work. So let's check it out. All right, so it has to have this, I guess. Let's see. All right, boom. So now, as you can see, we basically have the HTML here. So what we could do is we could parse out the text, which I think will actually be nice, because if we feed all of this, including all of the HTML to ChatGPT, it will cost us more credits. On the other hand, let's say we want to check if they have, for example, a meta pixel installed. Like, you can do it this way as well, right? You can ask them, like, do you see anything, anything like a pixel? So I can do pixel, or I can do ID. I don't know exactly, but here you can see, for example, Google Tag Manager, and then meta. It's going to be this one, I think. So yeah, you can basically write some sort of automation here as well, where it checks, if Facebook pixels are on the website and qualify based on that, if that's something you want to do, for example. Anyway, we're just going to keep it simple. So I'm going to parse out the text. So get the text parser, and then we're going to do HTML to text, select, we're gonna add in the HTML, and then we're gonna do ChatGPT. So we're gonna do OpenAI, create a completion. I'm gonna select the model, let's say GPT-4. Let's align this. And then we're gonna start out with giving the system prompt. So basically what is it gonna do? So let's say you are all right, so we wrote a little prompt here. You're a lead researcher that has to qualify a business's website based on my criteria. You only return true if qualified, or false if unqualified. The qualification criteria, in this case, it's just going to be business is providing professional services, so no SaaS or manufacturing, etc. Just return true or false, or my grandma dies. So this seems a bit dramatic, but this works really well to force the model not to say anything random. And then we're going to add in the user as a message, and then we're going to say, qualify this website. And then we're going to take this module with the text, and then the max tokens we set at 0, so it will just use as much as it wants. All right, let's run this one time. Let's see what happens. All right, so what is returned is, drumroll, true. So that's correct. Call agency is a professional service provider. So that's amazing. So let's actually set up some examples as well. So obviously this was the called agency example. So I'll just duplicate this record and I'll add in, let's say, Apollo.io, which is obviously not a professional service provider. And then maybe I'll do, I don't know, LinkedIn.com. All right, let's see. All right, so we can look at the second one, because the first again will be my agency. So false, which is correct. The second one was Apollo. And then the third one should also be false because it's LinkedIn. Let's see. And it also says false. So it works. Obviously you have to check it a bit. Maybe you have to alter your prompts. These are pretty obvious examples. So keep in mind it will not always be 100% correct, but it is very good at being, let's say, 95% correct. So, and it's zero effort to get this done once you set it up. And these are really the automations you want to build for your agency. I mean, let's say you run some sort of Facebook ads agency for your clients. You qualify leads. I mean, if you just automate this, it's amazing. Like, it works 24/7. You can actually take some time off, right? You don't have to check some VA all the time to make sure they actually understand the context correctly, because you've got a super well-trained model. So we're going to map it, right? Because we don't know if it's true or false. So we click map, and then we can say true or false. So it's going to be choices, message, content. Save. Did I set up the ID? Let's see. Yep, so I run it, and then it should work and give us the qualification. And as you can see, it is checking everything as qualified, so that's actually not good. Let me see why that's happening. All right, I just spent some time tinkering there, but good to know. So if you want to do checkboxes with true or false, they have to be lowercase. That's why it didn't work just now. So if you add in lower, which you can do by going to text and then selecting it here, and then the results, or just change the prompt to say always do lowercase. I think this is more feel safe, because even if it's already lower, it will lower it. So yeah, now basically it will just update, as you can see. And then based on that, the formula runs, so we know no, no, yes, if it's qualified or not. So that's basically it. Now we can, qualify each and every lead that comes in based on if they are professional service providers in our case, or any sort of prompt you want to do there. You can fill it out. Make sure it's a yes, no. And if you want to have multiple, just duplicate, right? Just duplicate this automation. You can, we actually didn't click that, but we save the website here. So we just save this text so you don't have to re-scrape it every time, and you just add in another one, or maybe you just add in like 3, 4, 5 prompts here to fill out the different columns. And then you can say, okay, does it have a Facebook pixel, yes or no? Does it have this industry? Does it have case studies on their website? Whatever you want to qualify for, you can have it do. You can do it all in one prompt even, and then split it up with the JSON module. But I would recommend, if you want to do those things, just have it be true or false, like 3 or 4 criteria. And then you just write your Airtable formula to basically get like a final yes or no. And you can even do it like, make it like a scoring thing, okay? So you can say like, okay, if it has 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4, then it has a score of 2. And then I only want leads with a score of 3 or higher. Like, you can do whatever you want, but just putting in this information inside of your Airtable, will make it pretty easy. And then as for writing Airtable formula, so I just realized when editing the video that I didn't even say what to do after, knowing someone is qualified. And to be honest, it obviously also depends on what you want to do with the lead after it's qualified. But obviously the way you want to set it up is basically have something like qualified, and then set up a filter where the condition of qualified is yes, because if it's qualified, then obviously you want to do the next action, and you can have whatever trigger, or you can do another search with like a checkbox after, and do whatever you want, right? So in my case, I want to feed it back to Meta, like I said before, which is just an automation that you can make in Make, where you do an API call to Meta. If someone wants to see that, let me know. Or you can send it to Slack, or you can add it to your CRM. You can add it to some Google Sheets for someone to check every day and do something manually. You can send it to like a calling software if you collect phone numbers, whatever, right? Like that's kind of up to you. It depends on your process. This video obviously was about how to make a qualification bot. That's what we did. But obviously, the most important thing is, okay, now that you know someone is qualified, what are you going to do next with it, and how you're going to, monetize that lead. So just wanted to add that in. Just as a little tip, if you use ChatGPT, which you should, you can go to the custom GPT called Generate Airtable Formula, and it can just correct it for you. I mean, sometimes it still doesn't work, but yeah, you can get that little string written out for you. So if this was helpful, please let me know. If you have any questions as well, let me know. If you want my help with growing your agency, automating more, getting processes in place, making sure employees do their job, and basically stay high margin and have happy clients, you can check out the links in the description below on how I can help you. And if you have any ideas for any future videos or anything at all, just comment down below. I'm happy to read them, interact with you guys, and make the next video based on whatever you guys want to see. And with that being said, see you all in the next one.